What is up, gamers and gentlemen? I've got a new update for you when it comes to Battlefield 6. We got the Battlefield 6 community update, the open beta debrief. So basically just, the closing thoughts by the developers, by the Battlefield studios, by, I guess, DICE, about kind of how the beta went, what changes are going to make. There's movement changes, weapon changes, balance changes, all sorts of changes that we're just going to go over real quick and talk about. I'll give you guys my thoughts about them, and then we can move on as a what I believe to be the #1 kill leader. But let's just dive right into it and take it from there. All right. Hey, everyone. Thank you, everyone who joined us during the Battlefield 6 open beta weekends. Your passion and feedback have been invaluable. With tens of thousands connected to Discord to play together, over 600,000 hours streamed, and over 30 million hours watched. Your enthusiasm and participation is what makes it great. As we approach the launch of Battlefield 6 on October 10th, we'd like to take a moment to look back on a recent open beta to share our key learnings and in-game changes we're making based on your feedback and in-game data. So, for weapons, we're making targeted adjustments to deliver a more consistent and rewarding gunplay experience. This includes a general pass on recoil and tabfire characteristics across all weapons, further emphasizing their unique feel and improving range differentiation. We also made changes to, we're just going to have to see what that means, right? But we also made changes to encourage more controlled tap firing and burst firing, rewarding precision and weapon mastery. Additionally, the M87A1 shotgun now requires more pellets to secure a kill. So that's on buckshot. I assume the range is essentially shortened. However, they didn't mention the slugs, so slugs might still actually be overpowered or extremely strong. It's just, there's a bit of a trade-off because you actually do have to aim at what you're shooting at, which I think is good. Reward the good accuracy. Also, I know my color is a little bit yellow. I have my ceiling light on and I can't be bothered to turn it off. We are investigating the time to kill and time to death experiences because, as some people pointed out, the time to kill was not the same as time to death. So when you shot at somebody, it felt like it took really long to kill them, but when you died, it felt almost immediate, almost like they shot you with one super bullet, so to speak. So apparently they've changed that. We're just gonna have to wait and see, or they're looking into it, and we'll share an update if definite changes are made in these areas. Moving on to movement, this is some pretty huge changes. Movement mechanics have been adjusted to create a more balanced and traditional Battlefield experience. Momentum, especially horizontal speed, carried from a slide into a jump has been reduced. There's now a greater penalty for consecutive jumps, which lowers jump height when jumps are spammed. So basically like a jump fatigue, as most games normally has. Firing while jumping or sliding will result in increase in accuracy. The question is if the hip fire will still make a very big difference or not. We're gonna have to wait and see and try it out when the game drops. These changes are designed to make sliding and jumping more situational, so they're no longer ideal options for engaging in gunfights and will contribute to a gameplay pace that rewards skillful movement without becoming too fast or unpredictable. I've seen some clips of people just jumping around like crazy, so this is probably good. Parachute physics have also been tuned with reduced initial acceleration when opening the parachute for more controlled aerial movement. As for the maps, we observed some players finding a way to reach rooftops and venture out of bounds. This gameplay is not intended for those maps, and the upcoming ladder for the assault class is also not designed to access these areas. We are actively working on adjustments to prevent unintended access and ensure gameplay stays within the intended boundaries. Personally, I would like to see out of bounds here, where it's just an out of bounds timer, so you can't really place anything, you can't stay there for long, but you can still rotate over a house and like drop down. You could also just put like an invisible barrier, but that never really feels good. So I would suggest, and I did suggest, just putting an invisible out of bounds timer there instead. I also heard strong feedback from players excited about the larger scale maps that Battlefield has to offer. While the open beta featured smaller, more fast-paced maps, larger scale maps are already part of our launch package, delivering action-packed gameplay and memorable unique moments for every player. We also heard strong feedback from players excited about larger scale maps that Battlefield has to offer. While the open beta features smaller, more fast-paced maps, so larger scale maps are already part of the launch package, delivering action-packed gameplay and memorable unique moments for every player. As part of the Battlefield Labs testing, we'll be testing 2 new multiplayer maps, one set in Merak Valley, and the other a remake of the fan favorite from Battlefield 3, Operation Firestorm. These 2 maps include the full complement of vehicles like Liberation Peak, along with a more vast combat space. So I wanted to just mention this. We played a little bit of Battlefield 24. We played a little bit of Battlefield 2042 on my stream. I played a little bit of Battlefield 4 prior to Battlefield 6. And I'm going to say it, big open maps personally suck. I actually prefer the Battlefield 6 maps with the exception of Liberation Peak because it was just kind of one lane. But Siege of Cairo, Empire State were so good. so good. They were not like this big open spaces. I feel like a conquest, especially in general, I feel like you're just running in this big open space. It's boring as hell. And then eventually you find one person to kill. You might kill him, or it's a tank and they just kill you and you can't fight back. So I'm actually really happy. It was a smart move to start with these smaller maps because they're actually better. I'll probably just gonna spam these and nothing else when the game does come out. Maybe we'll do some BR as well. We'll see. When it comes to Rush, the conversation we observed wasn't just about player count, but also how maps play and the tactical experience they offer. Rush is a mode with deep roots, originally known as Gold Rush in Bad Company, where the matches typically range from 12v12 to 16v16 players. Many of you remember this as the golden era of Rush, and it continues to inspire our approach today. We have experimented with larger player counts through the years, such as the 64 and even 128 player versions. While these matches created intense, fast-paced moments, they also led to issues, overwhelming defenses, stalled front lines, and too many games ending in the first sector. Rush is especially sensitive to higher player counts due to its tactical and strategic requirements, such as throwing smoke grenades and rushing in. When a player tries to arm an MCOM while more than 20 other opponents are defending, the intended gameplay becomes less tangible. That's a very good point. Based on feedback throughout recent titles, we're lowering the default player count for Rush to improve the flow of combat and restore the tactical, methodical experience that defines the mode. I think that's probably, like, I see what you're going for. You're probably right. If you just want to, like, zerg something, you can still play Breakthrough. For those who enjoy large-scale Rush, Portal will allow you to experiment with different player counts at launch. Higher player counts up to 64 players, and that's where the mode really shines. Using win-loss data from the open beta, we're continuing to make map-by-map balance adjustments towards making our goal of 50-50 win ratio for both attackers and defenders. The problem with Breakthrough, especially when it comes to attacking and defending, like how strong the sides are, is it's inherently very attacker-sided, especially when it's just 1 point. And that's because Breakthrough is really simple. If you just put all of your bodies on the point, you're going to win. Then that's because the defenders, it's almost like a prisoner's dilemma. They don't step on the point and contest it themselves. We noticed this when we tried to grind for like 100 kills, and I felt like Breakthrough, especially Empire State, was the play. But when the enemy team just runs down the main lane and just put 20 people standing on the point, you just can't match it. You just end up losing. There's no way to like actually defend. So I don't know how they're gonna fix that. I'm not sure that's something they have info on in the data they have, or maybe they do, but just mentioning that. That's something that they need to look into how to fix. Or people just need to learn how to defend and not be like boring. Like most people, you go take a high ground, you just camp over the snipers, they don't go take the point, and then the attackers walk in to smoke the point off and take it in like 2 seconds. Moving on, there's some confusion around the number of players in different games, so we wanted to take a moment to clarify our current direction for how these get determined. Rather than lock in maps and modes to a fixed player count, our philosophy is to adapt to best fit the intended experience. This may vary by map or evolve over time with player feedback. For example, at launch, some Breakthrough layouts will support 48 players, while others will have 64. It's the one of many factors we adjust to create the right balance and feel for each scenario. In Breakthrough, higher player counts work well on open dynamic maps, while smaller playgroups offer a more focused experience on denser maps. Portal gives players the flexibility to try different settings and find what works best for their group and playstyle. And obviously, Portal is going to be really cool because we're going to be able to build whole game modes, so I'm excited about that. Finding the right balance is an ongoing process as everyone gets familiar with the map size, lanes, and combat spaces. Absolutely. For now, we found that 8v8 provides a solid starting point for small-scale fast-paced modes like Team Deathmatch, Squad Deathmatch, Domination, and King of the Hill. That makes sense. A limited variety of playlist options were created for the open beta, so this is something people talked about the open versus closed, I think. These both showcase and test the flexibility of the matchmaking system. For more details on our playlist adjustments, see our post about open way. Oh, that's actually over here. Let's take a look at that later. Playing with both open and closed weapons will continue to be options in 6, and we are looking for ways to make them easily accessible. We recognize that some players experienced difficulty finding games to complete the challenge of capturing sectors in Breakthrough Rush. It wasn't ideal, and we're actively using your feedback and in-game data to review and improve the system. Yada yada yada, exciting. And I see here how many people, enemies killed, friendlies revived. That's so funny. Wait, was that 4 billion, almost 5 billion enemies killed and 30 million revived? Nobody was reviving, man. That's so funny. Almost 200 destruction received. But that's really cool. I'm really excited to see how the game continues to evolve and how it's going to feel in when 6 comes out. Really excited to just cover it in general. I'm interested again to see how the shotguns will feel. I'm curious to see how the guns will feel because a lot of them were really jumpy, but maybe with some adjustments they'll feel a lot better to beam with. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Either way, Curious to hear what you guys think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.